So I know there's a lot of praise right now going to the narrator on Baldur's Gate 3, but can we take some appreciation for at least the first game that I remember where a narrator really kind of made the whole thing? Bastion! And because I know that opening gag is going to prompt some questions, though I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3, it's $60 and incredibly expansive. I have neither the money nor the time. If somebody wants to gift it to me, I will then have it and maybe I'll play it on stream, but I ain't got the time right now. Me talking about video games isn't even a side gig, it's a side gig of a side gig. So, yeah, it's not a high priority. Looks interesting, but anyways, Bastion. So, this is the first game from Supergiant Games, and I love Supergiant Games. I have played, I think, all of their stuff. I think so. I've played this. I've actually now completed my second playthrough of this. I played Transistor. I have played Pyre. I haven't talked about that one. I need to do that at some point. That one's complicated to talk about. I should at some point though. I've played the hell out of Hades. Good grief. But I haven't talked about Bastion before. Bastion was their first game, and when I played it before, I played it on my mobile phone. Not a bad gaming experience on your mobile phone, actually. This time I played it on PC with a controller, which works very well. This game, it's hard to explain while being very easy to experience. So, if you don't know, because there are some people who have talked this game to death, and it's a game worth talking to death, and it's old enough that maybe it missed some people by. You start out after a cataclysm of some sort. Your player character is referred to just as the kid, and you navigate around and you find the Bastion. Your entire society appears to be completely gone. The Bastion remains. It was a place, a sanctuary, a safe place, meant where everyone was meant to go, quote unquote, in case of trouble. But nobody made it. It's you, and it's the old man who is the narrator, who's just got the best voice. It's so good. And he sends you out to find various resources, these crystals, to power the machine at the center of the Bastion, which, if it can be fully powered up, will undo the cataclysm and bring back the civilization that has been destroyed. That's your starting premise. So, I am not going to get into plot spoilers, but I will say the way in which the nature of the narrative unfolds, and largely through the narrator, who talks as you play. So as you play and you enter a new area, he'll tell you a little bit about it with this just amazing voice. And you encounter a new enemy, he'll have some things to say about that. You can ask him about some stuff, but he'll also just give you the bare bones information that you're going to need to know as you work your way through this. And every time he does, you get little bits and glimpses about the civilization that was lost, about the areas surrounding it, about what this world is like. And that picture becomes clearer as you go. And again, I'm not going to talk plot spoilers, but the pace and the way at which that all unfolds is really well done. And the gameplay is actually quite fun too. This is a game that it's really fun to progress in. I really enjoy the feeling of added power when I find a new weapon at all, much less get to upgrade it. Because the upgrades aren't just stat boosts. Every time you upgrade one of your weapons, you get to choose, okay, so it'll have things like you can either have more ammo capacity or you can reload faster. You can either, have less downtime between every time you run out the clip, or you can fire more things before you have to wait for the downtime, but that's going to be as long as it has been. And it's those kinds of decisions between speed and strength and things like that. And you can fully lean into one over the other. You can, as you upgrade more, you can pick different perks that balance each other. So like, okay, I went for more strength that time, but we're going more speed this time for a more balanced experience. And that's just the way you can customize individual weapons. Each weapon plays differently enough that it's pretty easy to craft a style that works for you, and you get to pick 2 weapons to go out with. So most people would pick something melee-ish and something long range. So I tend to favor the spear and the rifle. The spear is kind of my default melee, but like there's the spear, the machete, the hammer, and there's the rifle, there's the mortar, there's the pistols, there's all these other options for your secondary weapon. Or if you just want to go all out, you can set yourself up with 2 different kinds of long range or 2 different melees and do it however you want to do it. My intuition is to go 1 melee and 1 long range, but you don't have to. There's a lot of flexibility that is still structured enough that it doesn't feel so free form that like I get lost and I'm like, I don't know what I should be doing. I get to find what I should be doing, and it feels just really good to unlock things, to gain new abilities with these things. To the point, actually, that I tend to not be a massive proponent of New Game Plus at this point. Like, I like New Game Plus. It's a fun idea. I was around back in the day. Chrono Trigger kind of brought it about as a thing in the first place. Like, it's a good thing to have, broadly speaking. But I don't play New Game Plus on a lot of games. Largely just because I'm like, okay, but I've played it already. This one I absolutely do because I feel like there's more I can find. There's more I can unlock. There's more power I can bring to this character. But I've exhausted the narrative. So I suppose that is the one kind of minor failing, is that, and this is the hard thing to balance, to be honest. I feel like the narrative runs out before the mechanics have been used up. And this is a tough thing to balance because what happens a lot of times in a lot of games is the mechanics have stopped evolving, but you've still got hours of story to get through. Like, nothing's really going to seriously shake up or change the way the game plays, but to see the story out, you've still got a lot to do. This is something that a lot of narrative-driven stories kind of struggle with, where the narrative goes on way longer than the mechanics will support. This kind of has the opposite problem, where the narrative is wrapped up quicker than the amount of building up of this character that I would like to do. But New Game Plus kind of balances that out a little bit. And I suppose if you have to lean one way or the other, it's generally better to leave people wanting more than to make them go, finally, that's over with. So if those are the choices you're making, you can't nail it quite right, that's probably the better side to err on. And like, narrative is absolutely Supergiant Games' strong points, but I do still think they do solid gameplay and mechanics, even though the writing is clearly where more effort goes. And this game, mechanically, I just enjoy playing. I just like this game. And the music is so good. The music's so good. The narrative's so good. The story is good. It's paced really well. If you've played any of Supergiant's other games and you haven't played this, you should. A lot of times a studio's first game will feel like a prototype for something they did later, or like, oh, I see where they got good later, but like, it's a little rough. Like, this is pretty damn polished and still worth revisiting. Bastion. Have you played it? What did you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills and enables me to do this as my living. Even if you can't help me out there, like, share, subscribe, links in the description for other stuff that I do. Don't worry too much about it, though. Take a relaxed attitude around here. Just come on back next time you need a break. Shout out to the patrons who help make this possible. In particular, I want to thank Robin Moore, Zubin Lutfula, Goddess Elida, Tarak, the thing that goes doink in the anime, Ruth, Oliver B., Solitary Pictures, Ulrich Bogdan, Melinda Walters, Jen, Auntie Kate 808, Becky Sparks, Fernabilax the Poodle, Robin Powell, T. Love, Tracy Scrappett, Angry Casperl, Dave Hall, and Rosalind Bennett. There's being able to hear me try and pronounce your name, plus a whole bunch of other rewards in the Patreon. You can check out the tiers, but If you're already on the list, thank you so much.